Who didn't love Saturday morning cartoons as a child? I know that I used to love waking up to the smell of Pillsbury cinnamon rolls and running to my parents' room to start watching cartoons. My brother always woke up before I did, so he was there before I got there, and he would always pick his favorite one first. My parents put TVs in our room at a very young age, so I remember a lot of my childhood was spent watching TV with my brothers and my parents. They took me to my first movie when I was very, very little in the theaters, and I'm fairly certain I just slept through all of it. But movies were a way my parents really stressed, and so that was something that they did for their kids as well. However, research shows that watching TV at too young of an age can be very harmful. According to David L. Hill, MD, 92.2% of 1-year-olds have already used a mobile device, some starting as young as 4 months. These shows do not come without a cost. He also says, quote, "It takes around 18 months for a baby's brain to develop to the point where the symbols on a screen come to represent their equivalent in the real world." End quote. Babies and toddlers need to spend their time learning and interacting with people around them and with toys, not watching colorful objects and people that mean nothing to him. They need to learn how to grow attachments to those people that spend their everyday lives with them, and what objects and shapes mean in real life, and how to hold them and mold them to do what they want. According to study, researcher Linda S. Pagini said this about watching TV from an early age. When it occurs early on, during the time the brain expansion is going on, during the time when lifestyle habits and preferences are still taking place, they're kind of crystallizing. It can have an extreme negative long-term effects. These negative effects she's talking about is academic health and social problems. Academically, children have a harder time focusing in school because their brains are just thinking about what show they can watch when they get home from school. Health-wise, it's hard for children to listen to their body cues at a young age when their minds are engulfed in the TV in front of them. It's hard for them to realize if they're hungry, thirsty, when they need to go to the bathroom. And socially, it's hard for children to learn how to connect with people in their everyday lives because they only know how to connect to the characters they watch in TV shows. Children could have a hard time realizing what's real and what isn't real. I've often heard parents talk about how it's okay for their children to watch TV because it's educational. However, the Urban Institute for Children say that television is not a sufficient teacher for children. Based on these concerns, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that children under the age of 2 do not watch any television, and that older children only watch 1 or 2 hours of quality programming. When they say quality programming, they mean things that teach you how to recognize your colors, how to do problem solving. There's a TV show called Daniel Tiger, and although he doesn't teach a ton of academics, he does teach things like why you should go potty, and he teaches things about being kind and staying safe in the street when you're playing outside. I agree that it is tempting to put a TV show on for your child because it allows you as a parent to get more work done. I am not a parent myself, but I do watch children often in my home, and it is often really tempting to just throw a TV show on just so I can get the dishes done, or just so I can finish folding this load of laundry. However, our children are only young once, and once they grow up, they grow up. They have the rest of their lives to watch as much TV as they should or could or want. But they only have those first 2 years to really grow those bonds with us as parents. So I want to make sure that we spend those precious moments with our children, and so they know how important they are to us. So I want you all to think about how much time you spent watching TV as a child. Now think about how much time you spend watching TV now. My husband was not allowed to watch TV as a kid. He was allowed 30 minutes every other day, I believe. But like I mentioned, I could watch as much TV as I wanted. My parents did not care whatsoever how much TV I watched. My husband, to this day, is very good about not watching a TV show until all of his work is done. Me, on the other hand, I justify a lot of the time with watching TV shows. I say, well, I'm going to watch this one TV show really fast, and then I'll get to all of my work. And I think that played a big role. That does play a big role in my life. And based off of my childhood, those habits were formed young and they stick with me and they're really hard to break. So I encourage all of you, parents or not, to try to break the habit of being so engulfed in television or in your phone. I encourage you all to interact with real people, interact with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your colleagues, your coworkers. Interact with them and make real moments, because memories are what matter most. Thank you.